As the nation prepares for this 3-day storm, FCT Emergency Management Agency is doing a sensitization program at different parts of the FCT, and we'll give you those details in our focus on the FCT. Meanwhile, the Director General of the FCT Emergency Management Agency will be joining us today to talk about flood-prone areas, what the sensitization is supposed to do, and places where people should start preparing to move from. All this after we give you an update on the major stories this week from Nigeria's presidency. This is Dateline Abuja. Hello and welcome to Dateline Abuja. I am Kayla Magwa. Let's begin with that update. These are some of the things that happened this week in Nigeria's presidency. It's time for our Abuja wrap.
President Bola Tinubu paid courtesy calls on the Governor General of St. Lucia, His Excellency Cyril Errol Macias Charles, and Prime Minister Philip Pierre as part of his state visit to the Caribbean nation. The president, who arrived in St. Lucia over the weekend, started with a private meeting with the Governor General, from where he proceeded to meeting with the Prime Minister. According to the presidency, the state visit is part of efforts to deepen Nigeria's engagement with Caribbean nations and strengthen South-South cooperation. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has announced the establishment of diplomatic relations with St. Lucia, describing it as a symbolic bridge that will provide a gateway in fostering closer ties between the United States. President Tinubu stated this while addressing a special joint session of the Senate and House of Assembly of St. Lucia in the Caribbean nation as part of his state visit. President Tinubu also announced that he would offer full scholarships to students of organizations of Eastern Caribbean states to promote cultural understanding that further strengthens the bond between Nigeria and the Eastern Caribbean states. Meanwhile, St. Lucia has conferred its highest national honor, Knight Commander of the Order of St. Lucia, on President Bola Tinubu in recognition of his efforts to strengthen the historical and cultural bonds between Africa and the Caribbean. The formal investiture was performed by the Governor General of St. Lucia, Errol Charles, on Monday night at the official reception for President Tinubu at the Government House, Mount Fortune, St. Lucia. According to the Governor General, the national honor acknowledges President Tinubu's leadership on the African continent and his ongoing efforts to strengthen ties between Africa and the Caribbean. President Tinubu, who will now add the honorific of SAR to his numerous titles, expressed deep appreciation to the government and people of St. Lucia for the honor.
I am greatly honored on behalf of my country, Nigeria, standing before you to say thank you very much. I came here as a president, ordinary president. Leave other honors behind. But I'm living as a knight. It cannot be more thrilling and more exciting and welcoming than that. You are great people. One thing I must promise you with this honor and your presence here is to continue to work hard. Look at the relationship. Put honest through day's work and connect our two peoples. Make a distance shorter between Nigeria and St. Lucia.
Also, President Bola Tinubu has encouraged Nigerians in St. Lucia to continue to demonstrate good character and be good ambassadors of Nigeria. As contained in a statement by the Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Mr. Bayo Nanuga, President Tinubu gave discharge while interacting with Nigerians living in St. Lucia, promising to resolve some of the issues raised by the Nigerians diplomatically. The Nigerians in Diaspora Commission Chairman, Mrs. Abike Dabiri Herrera, organized the meeting and invited various Nigerian professionals and students living in St. Lucia to the meeting, which took place at the Windjammer Resort. He is aboard during his state visit.
We have a very good trace of history. Our forebearers went through a lot across the Atlantic, find ourselves here, family members here, our DNA is here. I am unapologetically Afrocentric in my policies. And whatever we can share, it is reflected in the rendering of our national anthem. What you learn here is about service, commitment to your motherland. You are not inferior to anybody. You are equal to everybody.
Back home, Nigeria will embark on planting 20 billion trees in the next rainy season as part of a reforestation and environmental sustainability drive. Vice President Kashim Shettima stated this shortly after touring multiple agricultural and industrial facilities across Ethiopia on the sidelines of his state visit to the country. He says Nigeria draws inspiration from Ethiopia's Green Legacy initiative launched on Friday. Also, Vice President Kashim Shettima says Nigeria will soon phase out diesel dependency and cut carbon emissions through the nation's integrated hybrid energy system. He stated these at the opening of the Decarbonizing Infrastructure in Nigeria Summit held in Abuja. The Vice President also disclosed that discussions are underway with private investors to commit nearly $60 million to establish green hubs.
Discussions are currently underway with private investors to commit nearly $60 million to electrify the port and transform it into Nigeria's first green port. This is a strategic leap. Through an integrated hybrid system, we will phase out dependency, slash carbon emissions, and provide 24/7 sustainable and affordable power to terminal operators and port users.
Lastly, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Yesom Wike, is asking members of the opposition coalition movement to stop using Nigerians for their personal affair, challenging them to present their scorecard when they held public offices. According to him, the coalition of some political figures into the African Democratic Party is not in the interest of Nigerians. He stated this during his monthly media chat at his official residence in Abuja.
When you want to go to power, tell us. If there are people who have not been in power in this country, who are coming with such an idea, I can listen to them. But not people who were the ones at the heads of affairs of this country for how many years? Look at where this country, if this president did not take certain decisions he has taken, which may be very challenging, you would have known where we would have been by now. Why are people thinking that Nigerians have become so foolish? That you use Nigerians all the time.
Welcome back. With the rains here and floodings inevitable, it is time to sensitize the people on what they need to do to prepare for the times ahead. This 3-day storm that we've been waiting for, we're told, will be coming very soon. So how are the FCT authorities preparing the residents of the FCT for these dangerous times ahead? Well, they've been going to communities. A sensitization program is in place, and these are the details in our FCT in Focus. The rains are here, and communities in the nation's capital are expecting the flood. To avert any disaster from the flood, the FCT Emergency Management Department is moving to communities that are flood-prone. The team is taking sensitization campaigns to residents of the areas at risk in Kuje and Kwali area councils, where they met with the traditional rulers of the communities. The agency is urging the community leaders to lead the campaign to ensure the safety of their subjects during the rains.
The purpose of our visit today is to sensitize the community of Kwali of the impending flooding that was predicted with from 9 Met and Nisa on the probably flooded areas all over Nigeria, and in the area council of Abuja, Kwali was mentioned. Example of one of the village in Kwali is Gumbo. So we come to the palace to sensitize the palace, and it goes on. When we meet the palace, we meet everybody, and the information will go down to the grassroots. Tomorrow, by the grace of God, we'll be at Abaji. That is Yaba. You know, Yaba is another flood-prone area because it's situated by the Gurara River. In our action plan, we have a stakeholders meeting, and the stakeholders meeting includes the chiefs and emirs in the FCT. We've been doing it over the years. So this year, is not going to be different.
According to the 2025 flood outlook for the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, 8 communities across 3 area councils were at risk of flood between April and June. Meanwhile, 6 communities are facing high flood risks between July and September this year. 17 communities in 4 area councils faced moderate flood risks between April and June this year, while 25 communities across all the 6 area councils are facing moderate flood risks between July and September this year. The traditional leaders pledged to take the campaign to the people while identifying the flood-prone areas within their domain.
Fast approaching the rainy season. And what you have said, the message of the DG, we have heard it, and we want to assure you that this message will get to the grassroots. You know, this issue of climate change, people look at it as if it is kind of a fallacy. People try with climate change. But the reality is already here. And I want to tell us that we here at this end, by God's grace, we have been sensitized. We have been talking because most of my traditional laws, they're exposed and they know all these things, what they call climate change. This project is our own. But we are the one that are living in the riverine areas. So we have to really take it very serious, that the project is our own. And since you are coming to tell us this morning that we should be very, very vigilant with the happenings, inshallah, we are going to be very, very vigilant. And to tell you that, inshallah, we are going to pass this message once again to our own communities.
This flood kind of thing, we're all aware of it. We know how dangerous it is. And we'll try to relay the message to the chief, in which the chief will call maybe to district head, village head. We have ward heads also. They will all gather sometime, pass this information, and the information go down easily. We'll surely relay to the chief, and then the chief will summon the necessary people to his palace so that we'll relay the message to them. But then, before you go, we have one village here called Yanguji. Yes. And I remember this year, chief himself has taken it upon himself. I think we contacted Minister of Works in Gogolada here, I don't know. It's very dangerous. In fact, every year they suffer. Please, I would like to look into this, if it is within your jurisdiction.
The flood-prone areas, you see Bako, Yanguji, Kwaita, Ashara. Because in Ashara, where people from Gadabu, Wako, there are 2 big rivers there. That when water flows, it's a disaster. Because I can remember it should be between 2013 and 2014 when I served as the special assistant to the executive chairman. In that year, there was a serious flood that there were a lot of damages to farm product and homes. And I think I was one of the delegation that was sent there. And when we went there, in short, there were a lot of losses there. So I think with your coming, it will really help us, not just as a community, but also as an area council. One, to make sensitization from community to community, through religious groups, through the community leaders, and so many others, even Youth Vanguard, so that the community and the entire people in Kwale Area Council will be sensitized. People will have this knowledge so that whatever danger that is coming, it can be avoided.
The management of the emergency agency is pledging to map out a safety plan to prevent any disaster during the rains. My guest tonight is the Director General of the FCT Emergency Management Agency, Engineer Abdurrahman Muhammad. Now, this agency, we hear, has been degraded to a department, but the job that they have to do is still there. And they're still standing on business, getting that job done. What are the challenges? Where are the areas that are repeat offenders when it comes to flooding every single year? What can be done to save lives? He gives us all those details in this interview. Engineer Abdurrahman Muhammad.
Thank you.
Welcome to Dateline Abuja.
Thank you.
The last time we heard about this rain, a few things were made clear to us as Nigerians, that the rains are a little late this year. Yes. And then there was some 3-day storm they said was going to happen. It didn't happen at the time because we thought it was going to happen the next week, but it didn't happen then. What are some of the things that we need to know, and how are we getting ready for this storm, and when is it coming?
Thank you very much. The storm is coming between July and middle of August. Okay. We are going to have the 3-day storm. It's going to be heavy rain. And now you can see that from yesterday, the whole system have changed. There's a lot of rain yesterday. If you go to Galadmawa yesterday, you will see that the water is rising. And that's why we are closing that road to make sure that what happened previous year is not happening again. So we are also monitoring the city, especially where they have given us that there's going to be flood. We are monitoring them, and we are telling people who are there what they should do in case the water comes.
Do we have the capacity? I'm going to, because I know there's a sensitization program going on with your office right now, where you're going to particular communities in the FCT that are flood prone, in preparation for not just the 3-day storm, but this whole season. I want to be able to understand how that 3-day storm is going. Do we have the capacity to handle something like that? And has it happened before?
Yeah, we have capacity to handle it. Part of the capacity is what we are saying now.
Telling people what to do.
Telling people that it's going to happen. So the people that believe that it's going to happen, they will prepare. So we have capacity to do that. Okay. So telling each other
there's no place to collect it. It doesn't flow anywhere.
Give the water way. If there's a blockage, open it. So that there's going to be what it's going to just be for only a few minutes where it rains. Maybe for 1 hour, 2 hours, then the water will run off. So, but the water need to run off.
That's the issue.
That's the issue. We don't need 2 hours. That 2 hours that we needed is what we are making sure we tell people what to do. If you have a blockage, open it. Then the water goes.
So let's talk about the sensitization that's going on right now in communities. You're talking to traditional rulers and leaders in communities. What are you telling them, short of move from this place?
No, we had a flood, especially in Abuja, Yaba area last year. And a lot of people lost their life and even their farm produce. So what we are telling them this year is that it's going to happen again this year. So what have we put in place? So those people, the crop you will plant, we tell you, though that is not the crop that water will just pack away. So these are the sensitization we are telling the chiefs. And we are telling them so that their people will key into it. They will believe that the NIMET and NISA say it's going to happen, then they should also believe that it's going to happen. Because if you don't believe that it's going to happen, when it happens, the effect is going to be much on us. So we don't want the effect to be much on us, even if it is happening. So that's why we are telling that we are going from village to village, we are going from community to community to tell them that this is what NISA have predicted, this is what NIMET have predicted. So how do we carry the water away? How do we sanitize them that this thing will not, the impact will not be much?
I want to be able to talk about people that need to move.
Yeah, if
in the FCT, are there areas in the FCT where, based on the amount of work I know that your office has been doing since last year, yes, are there places that people need to move from?
Yes, if there need places to people to move, we move them.
Such as where?
We have primary children even some children are not even in school now. We move them to schools. Not for that period. For the period of where there's going to be flood. So we move them to those places. So because it is very difficult for you to relocate them because they are ancestral place. They will not even leave. Even if you move them, they will go back again.
What places in particular are prone to this situation?
We have Yaba, we have Kwali, and we have Kuje. And that's why my people are there now sanitizing them.
So because those are ancestral homes, because it's been an issue, people don't move from their ancestral homes. So when the floods happen, what you're trying to get them to do is find a shelter?
It's a shelter for them,
okay.
Let the water goes away, then if they want to relocate, they can now relocate.
Or they want to go back to the same place, they can go back.
What we are trying to do is not to prevent life, to prevent them from losing their life.
Yes.
Look at what happened in Mokwa. We are told that so early rain this is going to be happening. In fact, Niger particularly was mentioned. Mokwa particularly, that community particularly was mentioned. But still, people did not believe until it happened.
Well, let's talk about Mokwa. Because when that flood happened, everyone was so upset. I was so upset because we just felt like this could have been prevented.
Yeah.
Could it have been prevented? Is it the people that are the problem? Shouldn't your office or maybe even the state government have done more?
The government have done what it needs to be done.
Which is just to tell them.
We have seminars, we have workshops, we are going to community to. NEMA have done tremendous work this year. So it just the intrigue in us, the thing in us that you don't believe certain things until you see it. That's what is happening. We are called. You don't. Next time this year, went and say the community that this thing will happen. If you touch their dashboard, you will see the communities that these things will happen. And so it's not before that they say this area. No.
It's more specific now.
They have gone beyond this area. They are specific this year. And this place the flood will happen. And exactly that same community, the Delta State is going to happen, and it happened. So that means we have not prepared enough. You discover that the SEMAS, the Niger State Emergency Management, support to have done a lot, prepared for that event. But what do we have? These are the things that are with us.
There are places every year that we see more Niger, Borno,
Kogi.
These are the major culprits.
Major pro areas.
Abuja used to be almost on that list, but of course we did a lot of work. Okay, your office did a lot of work on that over the years, even on that DG Emeritus, where they demolished so many houses. But Abuja still has some particular places that every year we know that a flood is going.
Yes.
One of them is that place in Lugbe.
Yeah, we have been there.
Okay.
In fact, we went to.
Just to be clear that we're talking about the same place, it's Trademore Estate.
The Trademore. Okay. We went there, gather all the residents and tell them what we gave them the previous incidents, and then we will tell them what is going to happen this year again. So they are aware.
Is there going to be flood there this year?
There's going to be flood. Also, there's going to be flood.
In Trademore.
In Trademore again. There's going to be.
Okay, so what can they do?
If the court will speed up.
So there's a court case.
The case is in the court, so the court will speed up.
The case in court is for them to move, not so.
For them to move, for a particular section to move.
So that the water can pass them. But that case is still in court.
That's it is in court. Okay. So we cannot. There's nothing we can do.
Okay. So that's what. There's nothing you can do.
Yes, when something is when it's not in our hand. If it's in our hand, we do something. But when it's not in our hand, there's nothing we can do.
But your job is to save lives.
Yeah, our job is to save.
So and how can we save lives in case?
And that's why we are going around. That's why we are going around. Those people on the waterway, we are telling them that look, this period you need to move out. It is only when you leave you will hear the judgment. Otherwise, if you didn't leave, you will not hear the. So it's better you move out now. So maybe after you can come back and say, but for this period of a flood, move out.
All right, as we wrap up, I hate that we have this conversation every single year.
Yes.
But as we wrap up, where in the FCT should people be looking out for? Where are we looking at most of the floodings happening this year in the FCT?
Yes, we are looking at Kuje, we are looking at Kwali, and we are looking at Abaji, especially Yaba. Yaba area. So there's then inside the town, inside the city, we are looking at Galadimawa. If you go to Galadimawa now, the water are raising up to some certain level.
At that interchange?
At that interchange. Until those road is completed.
Okay, yes,
there's nothing
there's
we
a
can
bridge
do.
construction and a roundabout there.
Yes, that roundabout. We will keep on managing what we have on ground. But when eventually it's completed, then the water will find its way. So we will not have problem again. But for now, we keep on closing that road. We keep on sanitizing people not to follow that road, especially when there's when there's rain.
So just Galadimawa in the city center?
Yeah, in the city center. Then we have Trade Mall. Then we have Ebano store, something like that. So all those places we are trying to make sure that we go there, monitor what is happening at the water level there. Then we will know the next action we are going to take. If there's need for us to ask people to move out, then we tell them to move out for that period.
I want to thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
For being with us on Dateline Abuja, and good luck with all the work ahead of you.
Thank you.
Thanks to my guest and to everyone who spoke to us today on the program. The rains are here. And to avoid the disaster we face every single year, maybe listen to what the authorities have to say and take appropriate action to save yourself and your property and those you love. That's Dateline Abuja this week. Please let us know the happenings in your neighborhood using the social media handles showing right now on your screens. Thank you so much for watching. I am Kayla Magwa. See you next time.